Sure. As with many people in this space, I did ancient history at Oxford and I wanted to be Indiana Jones. But then I realized there was only one of those positions and there were 100,000 people applying for it. And I was by far not the brightest. So I did my master's and PhD in businessy stuff and then went straight into consulting. I always liked the academic side of things. I didn't want to be one of those professors who lectured without ever having experienced in inverted commas, the real world. So I spent a few years in consulting. I'd already done a bit as an independent consultant during my PhD. Then I went into corporate consulting, focused on everything, really. I was one of those generalists where they rewrite your CV just before you go and see the client. Then I was an internal consultant when the mobile phone company was being created from scratch. So I was responsible for designing the company, I guess, on the products and services side. And then after that, to be honest, I was exhausted. So I thought this is the time to go back to academia. So I took a massive pay cut and decided to follow my passion of teaching. I love teaching. I don't do a huge amount of it. And to be honest, in those days, this is nearly 20 years ago, it was a bit like early retirement. And so as with, I guess, many entrepreneurs, I got itchy feet and I started my own business that I grew and then sold. I was climbing up the greasy pole of academia. And then what happened, it was interesting. A lot of my friends who I left in consulting went up the ranks in the big firms. They hit up against partner, didn't make it, and started their own firms. And then because the university had me teaching and researching academia, consulting, they came to me for advice. And it was really a massive gap, I realized. So anyone that's researching consultancy in academia wants to be with the sexy firms. They want to be researching McKinsey, Accenture, and Deloitte. No one really had done decent evidence-based research on boutiques. There were a few papers over 20 years, but nothing very useful. So I thought this is important because boutiques and small companies account for 95% of all consulting firms. So that's really where I started to get into the evidence-based side of it.